Hey guys, got another video for you today. I'm going to start the making the jig for the swing arm extension for the AT-1 MX, and it's just going to be some cutting and welding and a lot of measuring. So I hope it's interesting. What I'm going to do, my plan is to add 1.5 inches to the swing arm and cut out the foot peg areas. Let me show you. Okay, I've got a piece of plate steel here, and what I intend to do is build a couple stands for here, one on both sides, and then this I'll cut a couple pieces about 6 inches long out, and just for where the axle goes. So I'll have I'll be able to bolt it at the pivot point, and then bolt it at the back here where the wheel goes in. And my intent is to cut this out because it's actually a weak area. So that'll be cut out on both sides. This is where the brake stay goes, but I'll be running a long one up to the front to make it a full floater, so you get rid of the shutter when you hit the brake. So we're going to cut out about 1.5 inches here, and then we'll extend it 1.5 inches total. So if we cut out 1 inch, then we'll cut out 2 inches so we can extend it to. I think that's what I'm going to try to do, is I think I can get 1 inch out of this just about perfect. So that's my plan. If it's a little more, then we'll deal with it. Okay, let's get on with this. I don't have the proper drill bit, so I've got to bore the hole out. I didn't even have a reamer, so I'm just kind of stuck doing it this way. 1.5 is what I'm going to extend it. So I just zero out my readout. So on. It's touchy. It doesn't have to be exact, just within a couple thousand. Okay, that's within 6 thousandths. That'll do. Yep, pretty close. Okay, it's very important here that we keep some orientation. This bolt needs to be tight, and this bolt needs to be pulled all the way to the front, and that's where we're going to make all our measurements. We don't care what it is back to the back. So right now I've got this tight, and I'm pulling the two together. And at this point, I just need to make sure that I'm square, and I am on this side. So I'll go ahead and put a couple of tacks here. And again, I'm going to check my square. Okay. Now let's get it done on the other side. See, I need to be able to keep these. I don't necessarily need them tight, but I need them all the way over so that they're close to tight, snug. All right, looks like we're good. I've got a tube in between here so I can tighten it up. Now I need to make one for here. I do need to finish welding this up though. All I'm going to do is tack it. You know, at this point, you probably have noticed a lot of the screws, or the bolt holes rather, and I've been having a little trouble making up my mind. These lower ones, I just made them too low. I was hitting here on the bracket, so I moved them up, and this is my my 1.5 inch measurement here. So when we extend it, it's going to need to bolt up here on both of these brackets, and that will give us 1.5 inches center to center. And I got to thinking about it, and a lot of these were just done 1 inch, so I've done 1 inch set of holes here in the back. And all it would take is to break these welds and turn it around and do 1 inch. But I think I'm going to go with the 1.5 inches. It's all about fender and tire clearance. That's the problem. If you get too much extension, then you're going to run into clearance when you bottom the suspension. Now I am going to put about 1 inch longer shock on here, so that is supposed to make up the difference. So that's where we're at now. Now when I cut this out, like I said before, I'm probably going to remove these foot peg areas because I don't need them. This one here is for the brake stay for the rear, but I'm going to make a full floater out of it, so it'll come all the way up to the front here. So that's not a problem. But when I cut this out, it's probably going to take about 1 inch out, 3/4 to 1 inch. So I'll actually be putting 1.5 inches plus this back in. So it'll be closer to 2.25 inches what I put back in. This is a work in progress, so things may change a few times. But I'm going to go ahead and finish tacking this in. Tacks is all we need. It's not there's not a lot of pressure on it. So I'm going to tack a few more places, and then I've got to build the tube in here so we don't pull these two pieces of angle iron together. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and I'm just using the axle and spacers from the bike to get everything straight. So I'm pulling that out, and I'm going to give it a couple tacks up here. And that should be sufficient. Seven. 5.97. I'm slipping. All right, guys, I think we've got her situated here. All right, that's where we're starting out at. And when we cut them, then we'll move them back here to the 1.5 inch mark, and that's the size of extension piece that we're going to need, and that's when we weld it. That way we're exactly the same on both sides. Everything's set up the way it should be and the way it's going to be. So I guess all it is now is for me to, I'm probably going to cut one of these and find out what size wall thickness it is, and order up some chrome moly so I can extend these. We will probably have to relocate this tab for the chain guide, or chain guard, I guess. It's not much of one, but I think it should be there. The guard goes under it, and that may have to be relocated also, because I think it goes here. You know, I'm not sure whether I'm going to delete these things or not. I'd sure like to, but I forgot about the chain guide hooking onto here. If I took that out, well, it's probably not going to be in the right place anyway. So we may just have to improvise on that. And if I did that, I would probably just do one side. I don't know. I'll have to think about it a little bit. But this one for sure will have to be relocated. This is part of the bracketry for it, and so is this one. Those can remain because everything that we do will be behind those. So that stuff may have to be relocated, and I may just have to leave it. We'll see. But I really think we'll probably be cutting, if I don't take these out, we'll probably be cutting right about here in the middle. And if I do take them out, then of course here will be where the stub will go in, and it'll go up to this. But the procedure is, once we get it cut, this is where it's at now. I've got a measurement. I believe it's 17 inches from center to center. And when we get done, we should have 18.5. That's what our goal is. So we'll see if that happens. And by pulling that back, it's going to give us a little bit more rear shock travel, or rear suspension travel. And that, again, we have to watch what's going to happen to the tire and the fender. Okay, guys, what I've done here is I've put an adjustment so that I can, where I break it, I'll be able to maintain the right angle. And I've pretty much can come up with the conclusion that I'm going to leave these, and I'm just going to cut it and put my piece in there. This is, if I take these out, I won't have anything to mount the guard to, the chain guard, and I could take one out. I don't need it, but if I, there's just no use taking one out and not the other. So I'm going to maintain them, and I'll probably have to kind of readjust my chain guard and the chain guide a little bit, but I think I'm just going to leave those in there. But I've got these welded to both sides, and I can adjust these and put a jam nut on them so that they're going to stay put, and that way I'll maintain the correct trajectory there. All right. All right, guys, I think we're going to call this a wrap. I think we're going to be able to operate with what we've got here. I think it'll serve the purpose. Like I say, we have got the axle all the way forward. The pivot bolt can't move. It's solid. And we're going to maintain this axle toward the front when we move to the next bolt hole back, which will be our 1.5 inches on centers, increase in the length of the swing arm. So you just want to forget that this slider is here, except for the fact that don't use it. Always keep it forward. That's where we're going to go when we cut it. And these will help maintain the right inline attitude. And we'll probably have to move this one right here. It'll probably have to move forward a little bit. But other than that, I think I'm going to make the chain guide, which bolts like this from here to here and from here to here. I'll probably redo this. I may have to cut it and put another piece in. I just don't know because it's going to spread out this length 1.5 inches. So we'll figure something out on that. May have to completely redo it. I don't know. The chain guard goes up here like this. Like I say, it'll go here, goes behind this clip, and bolt to there. So this and this will maintain the same. We'll just have to change this one. But I think that's where we're at. I'm going to probably cut one of these so I can get see how thick it is, see what the wall thickness is, and then order up some chromoly tubing. It's 1.25 inches on the OD, so we'll have to see what we need there. I could stick a piece of coal roll in there, but I just don't think it's really got the right strength. So I'm gonna try to get hold of a piece of chromoly. So I think that's pretty much where we're at until we get some metal. So hey guys, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.